everyone, and welcome to LSM Reviews DMC Devil May Cry. I'm coming to you a little bit more unscripted than usual because, as I said, I'm working on a big project, but I'm going to try and squeeze this out too. Alright, so, I'm just going to talk about DMC Devil May Cry. Is it trash? Is it treasure? What is the good, the bad, and the ugly of DMC Devil May Cry? Well, let's see here. So, I want to go ahead and start with the good of DMC Devil May Cry. Now let it be said, you're going to see some really bad gameplay here, because this was before I got halfway decent at the game. It took me a while to get decent. But, I've only played the definitive edition of this. I've heard the standard version is just a nightmare of really shameful DMC gameplay. However, I have had a great time with the definitive edition of this. So if you only played the standard, you hate the gameplay, I implore you, pick up the definitive edition. It feels much better. It feels much closer to a DMC game than what I've seen others play. So the good, like I said, is the gameplay. The gameplay is just classic DMC fun. It's really good. The platforming is really, really good too. Because, you know, the platforming in Devil May Cry has never really been much of a strong suit, and it usually ends up being very clunky, very annoying, and you just want to avoid it entirely. Well, DMC Devil May Cry really fixes that by making the platforming being not garbage. It's a lot easier than you would think, I guess. But I had a great time in almost every single platforming section of DMC Devil May Cry. I really enjoyed it. Now, there were some things that feel a little weird, like, you know, like sometimes I could swear I did the input to teleport a platform and it just didn't pick it up. But even then, like, you don't lose a lot. It'll just take you back and you have to do it again. And it's not that hard. It was plenty of fun. The combat and the platforming and all was really well done in this game, after the definitive edition anyways. The good is the soundtrack. I really like the soundtrack of DMC Devil May Cry. I know a lot don't, and that's totally fine. I don't too much blame you. I just really like it. It's just kind of my thing. But another thing I really liked was the way it did the other weapons, right? Like, instead of just switching off the way you do in, like, DMC 3, 4, and 5, you have specific angel and demon weapons, and those being able to just, like, switch with those at R2, L2, and you can switch out with the D-pad. Just felt really good. Alright, in the final clip I have at the end of this video, you're gonna see me switching between Aquila and the scythe that I can't remember the name of. But you're gonna see me switching off, right? And it was a ton of fun to do that. It's absolute hell on your hands, but it is very fun once you really get it down. The gameplay was very solid. And I was having tons of fun. I played the entirety of DMC Devil May Cry in one day. I played the whole thing in one day, except for I didn't play Vergil's Downfall one day. I did that the next day. But everything else I did in one day, and I absolutely loved it. Another thing of the good is the level design is... It's not... I don't know that it's good. It is so creative. Like the clip I have on screen, the nightclub level, is one of my favorite levels in any game ever. I just absolutely love the creative level design of it. And, like, the boss fight, like the Bob Barbas boss fight, like, that boss fight was super good. It's not that it was super hard or challenging or anything, because it wasn't. Well, you know, you just figure out what to do and you just stomp on the right things and just easily avoiding attacks, right? Like, the fight itself is not hard, but it's insanely creative, and I've never really seen a fight done like that before. And DMC gets plenty of props for that. Is that it for the good of DMC Devil May Cry? I guess. Yeah, I guess that's it for the... Well... Nah, I'll include him in the bad. So, not for the bad. The story is not... I mean, the story of Devil May Cry is never really... Like... The Devil May Cry stories have never quite gotten to, like, what Final Fantasy does with its story. But then again, that's not what Devil May Cry is here for, right? Devil May Cry is here for just mindless fun action game, right? It's just really, really fun. And that's kind of what this game continues in the definitive edition. The story just isn't really, it's not compelling, right? Like, you can kind of see where things are going, and because Dante and Vergil are together, you know in the back of your mind, okay, there's going to be a fallout of some kind. There's no way we have a game like this where Dante and Vergil do not fight at the end. You just kind of know in the back of your mind, okay, it's going to happen, let's just skip the formalities and get to it. And when it does happen, it's a really fun fight, and I really enjoyed it. Let's see here. Okay, the bad. The bad is Vergil. Now, this is what I was contemplating in the good, because I like, see, okay, I like the, I'm having such a hard time figuring out how to phrase this. I like the idea behind Vergil in this game. You know, you build him up to be this big humanitarian, and then, you know, Vergil suddenly pulls a shift, and now he's not that. You know, he is actually closer to what we know in the original. Not quite, of course. OG Vergil is always going to be the king. But like this Vergil, once he, like in Vergil's downfall, I'll save that for the downfall DLC after I finish the main game here. But like it's really good, but I think overall it's executed not so good here. Like I think the clip of him walking around with the fedora and saying Sparta armed his two sons, the rebellion for Dante, the Yamato for Vergil. Right? Like I think that scene kind of speaks for itself and kind of what Vergil is in this game. I can see the idea behind Vergil, but for the love of God, I cannot fathom the execution of it. It could have been done way better, but yeah, maybe that's just me. But I know everybody else hates this, and there's not a lot of people that really give this game a fair shake, anyways, right? Like a lot of people just kind of hate the game because of the reveal trailer, and that's fair. You have every right to hate the reveal trailer, but after Definitive Edition, DmC is definitely worth playing. But on to, I guess, something else of the bad. What was it? Oh no, let me go back to the good for a second. Actually, I really like the idea of limbo, right? Like the fights don't take place normally; they take place in limbo. It's kind of a cop out a little bit, but like it's just I like it. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird for that. And there's the dog. And now for the ugly. We all know what is coming in the ugly. I don't think I need to really say what it is, but I'm going to. So, Dino, or Dante. What do I need to say over him? Now, I honestly think it would have been fine if his name wasn't Dante. Now, if they're going to reboot DmC, I think Vergil having the name he has, after experiencing Vergil's downfall and what he would have been in the sequel timeline, I'm content with this Vergil having the name Vergil. I'm not content with this Dante having the name Dante. I think, honestly, if his name was Dino, he'd be more likable, which is like, I know that sounds super weird to say, but I mean, I think it's kind of true. I mean, let's be honest. If his name was Dino and not Dante, he wasn't meant to be a replacement for Dante. I think a lot of people would have definitely liked him more. Maybe I'm unrealistic over that, but that's just my thoughts on Dante. Now, I don't think he's great at all. I think he doesn't act anything like Dante. But what I will say is he's funny. Like, he's annoying. He's not Dante, but Dino is funny. Dino cracks me up a lot, and I know like a lot everyone hates. Like a lot of people hate is when he's walking by Vergil and he says, "I got a bigger dick." Like, he's funny. Okay, I loved that line. That line had me cracking up. But so did a lot of things. OG Dante's funny too, but there's just something about the type of comedy that that Dino uses that really gets me. Now, that's not to say his dialogue in the part with the succubus, I think it was. It's not to say that dialogue wasn't awful, because it was. But but yeah, he's got better parts of it for sure. Dante is the only real thing in the ugly section. Like there's plenty. I'd say there's more good than bad and ugly in this game. I think this game gets a lot of hate that it doesn't really deserve, and I'd like to see more people give this game a fair shake because I think they'd like it if they did. So I guess that's gonna do it for Dante's portion of this game. So let's move on to Vergil's. So I just want to have this tiny clip, this next clip in here, just to kind of show how I actually did get pretty good by the time I finished it. That this gameplay that's on screen is pretty shameful. So I'm going to cut now to a clip where I'm actually doing really good, and then I'll start with the Vergil stuff. Okay, this is just me editing and post adding this part in. Boy, that other clip ended perfectly just to cycle right into the Vergil stuff. So Vergil's Downfall, I'd say, is a DLC that really did some good for the reboot Vergil. He's definitely not as good as mainline Vergil, but I can say I definitely really liked. Well, yeah, I really liked reboot Vergil after I played Vergil's Downfall. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go through the good, the bad, and the ugly. I know this gameplay is shameful. I don't need to be called out on it. I'm not good at Devil May Cry, alright? I just find them fun. So let's see here. So the good of Vergil's Downfall is, like I said, it's very good for Vergil. Vergil in the mainline game is pretty insufferable, I'm not gonna lie. Like, Vergil in the mainline game is really not that great. Like, I like the twist at the end where he just kind of drops, like, yeah, now we can roll over it, and everybody just turns and looks at him. Like, I really like that. I just wish he had more stuff in the game like that. Also, you're gonna see my dodging against anti-Vergil or whatever be very shameful. But anyways. So, I think that was really good in Vergil's Downfall. Like, we get to see, like, well, his downfall, really. I really like the gameplay they gave Vergil in this game. I never played Vergil in anything else, right? Like, I didn't, like, after I had finished DmC 3 and 4, I didn't really stop to replay it as Vergil after. So, DmC was my first ever experience with Vergil in this game. Oh, in Devil May Cry in general, and I really enjoyed it. And I think I've picked up enough to get me through DmC 5 eventually when I play that. But sorry, I'm zoning out. I'm watching my own gameplay. I gotta look away. I'm watching my own shameful dodges. Yeah, the gameplay was, like, really solid. It felt very different from Dante, right? And I hope that's kind of what Vergil's like in other games. He's, like, similar in some ways, but is overall much more different from Dante. And I really enjoyed that about it. Like, the Yamato being, like, your only way of fighting besides, projected swords or whatever. and you can just do light or heavy attacks with it. You know what I mean. It was just really good. Judgment Cut was like an absolute blast to use. The gameplay was tons of fun. Like getting the perfect timing on Judgment Cuts was really fun to me. And I can't wait to play Vergil in mainline Devil May Cry with 5. The music was good, but music in this game is really good anyways to me. Yeah, not really a lot to go over because the DLC's pretty short. As for the bad, I'd say I wasn't a huge fan of the animated cutscenes. Like sometimes it just kind of made it hard to tell what was going on. But it definitely did well enough with it. But overall, I would say it was in the bad section. I just wasn't really enamored with how they were just animated and stuff. There were things. It's hard to describe because I played this like a month ago, right? I'm just reviewing it now. That really did irk me about it a little bit. But overall, I'd say I really enjoyed Vergil's Downfall. Just as much, if not more, than I did the main game. And back to my more shameful dodges. And now for the ugly, really, is I don't like Vergil's weird look. After you beat anti-Vergil or whatever, like once you beat him and you get like the weird powered up Vergil, I get that like with the hair and stuff, it's supposed to look more like mainline Vergil, but my God, it did not look good in this game. Like I really did not like that look for Vergil at all. And I'm pretty sure that's not just me. Like I really like DmC Vergil's design normally. I like the outfit, I like the blue and black. I really like that. I think like the shade of blue is much better than it is for DmC 3 and 4 Vergil. But I definitely really preferred it before he had the weird power up thing. So that's the good and the bad and the ugly for Vergil's Downfall. So now I guess I'll talk about my thoughts on the game as a whole, I guess. Because I'm gonna talk about my thoughts on DmC Definitive Edition as well as Vergil's Downfall. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that real quick. So, my overall final thoughts on DmC Devil May Cry Definitive Edition. It is a blast. I had so much fun between just playing DmC Devil May Cry itself and Vergil's Downfall, and you can, like, and I know a lot of people hate Dante's design, you can negate that with the DmC 3 outfit, or 1 outfit, right? It's just, overall, I'd say if you're a Devil May Cry fan, and you saw the trailer for DmC way back when, before the Definitive Edition was out, and you didn't play it, pick up the Definitive Edition. It's a pretty good time, right? You have to look at, now that Devil May Cry 5 is out, you don't have to look at it as a failed reboot. You can just look at it as an Elseworld story, and that's kind of what I did, and that's why I ended up liking it so much. Like, I really enjoyed DmC Devil May Cry, because I knew, okay, DmC 5 is out, right? So, this is just an Elseworld story. It's not this crazy reboot that's going to end everything. That's going to be the death of Devil May Cry. And if you played the original DmC Devil May Cry, and you didn't like it, you thought the gameplay was clunky, I implore you, try the Definitive Edition, because I've heard it fixed a lot of the gameplay issues. Like I said, I can't speak on how much it fixed, because I have not played the original DmC Devil May Cry, but I played the Definitive Edition immediately after playing 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I really liked it. Like, I enjoyed the gameplay through and through. I just loved a lot of the game. At the end of the day, I'm going to give DmC Devil May Cry a 7.5 out of 10. Not quite as high as I rank DmC 3. About the same I rank DmC 1. And above 4 and 2. Because I don't like 4 and 2. But It's a really good time. I haven't played DMC 5 yet, and I gotta say, DMC Devil May Cry, looking at it as just an Elseworld story, ended up being my favorite of the Devil May Cries so far. I know it's blasphemy in the community of Devil May Cry, but I really enjoyed it. Like I said, you gotta look at it as an Elseworld story to really get it. You gotta look through a different lens than it being the reboot that killed Devil May Cry now. Because Devil May Cry is back big time, especially with Hideaki Itsuno saying that there is a new project in the works with both I don't know if it's Ruben Langton, with the mocap actor for Dante and Vergil. DMC 2 remake, let's see. But yeah, like I said, this is going to be a 7.5 out of 10. It's not as good as 3, but I like it more, just as as I like it. Really enjoyed this game. I really recommend it. If you're playing through the Devil May Cry series, do not skip DMC. It's plenty fun. Vergil's downfall, really good, really expands on Vergil, on a character that is not very interesting in the main game. They really do a lot better with him in the Vergil's Downfall DLC, and you should definitely give the DLC a shot too if you play the Definitive Edition. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I know there has been no content, and that's because I'm working on something big, alright? I'm working on the big Last of Us 2 video. It's that clip right there, nothing personal, kid. But I'm working on the big Last of Us 2 video, and that's going to come out either late January or early February, and I'm really excited to bring that to you. So yeah, if you see this, if you could like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching. So I'll try and get more videos out more frequently, but there's going to be a very dry period of content until I get that video up. But if you've made it this far, I want to thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And yeah, stay tuned for the Last of Us 2 video. So yeah, I've said yeah a lot, but yeah. I'll see you guys in the next video. Y'all take it easy.